All right, peace to the 12. Y'all see the title, Two Manner of People. All right, I was originally going to title this The Ruddy Imposter. Two Manner of People. Right here, right now, I'm finna settle this, man. I'm finna show you who is who according to the scriptures, all right? And two manner of people in reference to what? All right, and let me say this before I even get any further, man. Probably going to be a trigger warning, man. So the door is that way. And before you people get the clicking, clacking in the comments, just watch the video, man, because I'll probably answer the question. So let's get Genesis 25 and 23. Let's get straight to it. I got 144 slides, so this is going to be a long one. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Now, when it says two nations, the term nation, it means a race of people. So off of that, it lets you know there's two separate races of people. All right, two different nations are going to be separated from the bowels of Rebekah. All right, from her womb. Of course, we know those people turned out to be Jacob and Esau. All right. Now that brings us to question: who is who? All right, out of these two children. All right, and this is inspired by this guy who always stay in my comments, man. King Ruddy. He says the Tanakh was only given to my people. Your people don't need to read it. Well, you know what? I agree with you. All right, I agree with you, but the roles are reversed. Yeah, the Tanakh was made for my people, and you don't need to read it. But you see, this is what I be saying. See, people like this guy, people always go against the people that I am involved with. All right, being the Israelites, right? They go against us. Oh, you know, you guys excommunicate people. Well, this guy is saying the exact same thing. Why? Because they know that the scriptures are made for the Israelites. But this guy, unfortunately for him, he falls on the red category. All right, King Ruddy. Yeah, really, it should be King Red. But we're going to deal with that in this video. So stay tuned. We're going to find out who the Israelites are according to literature. All right, according to paintings, according to sculptures, engravings, and according to the scriptures, man. And ain't no way nobody getting around this. All right. So let's get it. Two manner of people. Let's deal with the boy in blue first. Let's deal with the boy in blue first. Actually, let's deal with Ruddy, since he wanted to say Ruddy. Now, Ruddy. All right. It says read or to be read. All right. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. Okay. Now, somebody can see that. Now, first of all, you see that word dark-skinned Hebrews. More on that later. Somebody can see, you see Ruddy means red. Listen. The color red has something known as an archetype. What is an archetype? There are many different shades of red. And among the shade of red, there's also the color of bricks. There's also the color of clay dirt, which still is under the classification of red. All right. So when you hear Ruddy, that could be talking about somebody that is a quote unquote red bone or a light skin. But we're going to get on this red in a minute to show you what I'm talking about when I get later on in this video, when I get to him. But first, we're going to get to the Hebrews, like I said. All right. What they look like. First of all, first clue, the dark-skinned Hebrews, right? Well, now just to prove what I'm saying on the term Ruddy, who this guy claims he's Ruddy, right? Well, when I type in a Ruddy horse, look what pop up. They're all different shades of brown with a red tinge. I type in a Ruddy cow, it's the same thing. I type in a Ruddy dog, it's the same thing. All right, you disqualified. All right, but let's keep going, right? Because King David was Ruddy. King David was Ruddy. 1 Samuel 16-12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was Ruddy, and withal of beautiful countenance and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. So he was Ruddy, meaning he was one of these shades right here. But I'm going to keep going because people are like, oh, well, actually, Ruddy, me. Shut up, man. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Just watch the damn video. But let's go to 1 Samuel 17:42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance. So when this Philistine saw this guy, which by the way, the Philistines were so-called black, I'm gonna fill that in on this video. But when he saw David, he looked at him with disdain. Why? Because David was ruddy. All right, the same way now how there's something that goes on in my culture known as colorism. Okay, where they look at so-called lighter-skinned people to be soft. They look at so-called lighter-skinned people to be weak. All right. That's why they have the term light skins. Like they say, light skins be like. By the way, look at this guy's color. Yeah, exactly. Ruddy. But that red tinge. But light skins be like. This is light skin in words be like, right? So this how that Philistine was looking at him. Why? Because David was a light skin. So the Philistine was looking at him like this. This is who comes to challenge me. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a little couple engravings. All right. Then we're gonna keep going into it. All right. I'm gonna show you some engravings. Now, this is according to what people say. All right. This is according to scholars and all that. Now, this is a picture right here of Assyrians' relief, Hebrews in captivity. All right. Now, look at these Hebrews in captivity. Now, pay attention to how they etched into the stone their hair patterns. Now, this right here is a picture of a so-called black man of Italy. Now, look at how his hair is textured. Look at how these Hebrews' hair is textured. All right, there's no other nation, there's no other type of hair that's textured like this, according to this image. Now, let's get another one. These are Assyrians flaying Hebrews alive. Once again, look at the hair texture. Look at the hair texture. Now, this right here is an African sculpture. Look at the hair. Look how it's etched. See, it's no way around this, man. Look at this African woman. Look at how her hair is etched. Look at how this guy's hair is etched. All right, you see the resemblance, but don't worry, dear viewer. Don't worry, dear viewer, because if you don't want to believe that, if you don't believe, first coming back, look at the hair. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. Look at the hair on the etchings. Now look at these so-called white man etchings. Why don't none of their hairs etched like that? It's almost as if they don't fit the bill. But wait, dear viewer, there's more. Now I'm going to show you some pictorial evidence according to a book. This is Picture History of Jewish Civilization. It costs $800, by the way. Why? Because every time a book has the truth in it, it's damn near going to cost you an arm and leg to get it. All right, now this is called Picture History of Jewish Civilization, which was written by this guy. All right, a so-called white man, so-called Jewish man. Okay. Now watch what he depicted them in this book. For those of you that say, "Oh, actually, no, they didn't look like that." For some reason, if you don't believe this, well, watch this. This is in this book by this guy. These are the Hebrews: the afro, the brown skin. All of them got that dark skin. Okay, look, brown hair, dark skin. Once again, that's in this book. Okay, they don't fit the bill. But let's keep going. All right, you can look up something known as the Limba people. All right, the Limba Jews. I say Jews because of YouTube. All right, they're the black Jews of southern Africa. All right, the Bantu-speaking group claim Jewish ancestry and observe many Semitic traditions such as kosher-like dietary restrictions and slaughter practices, male circumcision rites, strict rules against intermarriage, and Semitic-sounding clan names. Okay? So off top. Now, let's see what these Limba people look like. Okay, now we already saw the images of them. We already saw the etchings and sculptures of them. But let's keep going. This is what the Limbas look like, right? This is them, the Limba, a lost tribe of Israel in southern Africa. The Limba tribe, ancient roots, new traditions. All right? It's just funny, man, how these guys come in my comments. Don't you ever in your life think for a second that you know more than I know when I know who you are? Okay? Now, I approve of people to have disagreements in my comments that are of my stock, but he ain't. Okay? That's why I got to regulate. I had to do this video, man, because I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I knew it was going to be long, so I said, I'm going to just keep putting it off. But, here it go. All right, now look, New York Times, DNA backs a tribe's tradition of early descent from the Jews. All right, the Judeans. Now what? I'm just going to get the highlighted part. First, hold on. The Limba have clan names like Siddiqui and Hamasi that are clearly Semitic and that are also found in the eastern Hadramawat, Dr. Parliv said. Now, let me go to this highlighted part. It turned out that what they are saying about themselves is substantially correct. So they say it turns out what they're saying is correct. In other words, what they're saying is they are Israelites, which of course they are. Limba tribe in southern Africa, DNA tests revealed that Limba tribesmen in the southern Africa have Jewish origins, according to the report by the BBC. All right, even this guy, Dr. Henry Abramson, he goes along with this, man. But, I don't really give a damn. See, that's another thing about this, man. I don't give a damn what they got to say, okay? I know the truth. I know who we really are, all right? And just because this guy says that, oh, yeah, we have some Jewish communities of color, I know how they really feel about us, man, over there in their land, all right? Oh, well, really, it's our land. I know how they feel about us. Look at this. Don't forget to go back to the jungle in Africa. We don't need you. We don't need or want you in Israel. All right, this is the relationship between blacks and the Turks, because these people are Turks, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, the Khazar Turks, the Jews, Turk mulattoes, has never been wanting equality or brotherhood. Yeah, so that's how they feel about us. Go back to Africa, these Southern African Israelites, right? Then you got this writing on the wall. I had to cover it out. It says, white power, kill N-words. That's what it says. That's how they really feel about us, man. So I don't give a damn how these people think. I know they have a perpetual hatred towards Israel. All right, but we're gonna get on the other nation in a minute. I'm just gonna prove that without a shadow of doubt who the Israelites are and what they look like. All right, before I get other people in the comments, well, you can't go off of that. You gotta go off the spirit. Listen, I've done many videos of that in the past. That yes, you can't just go off of skin color today because our seed has been mingled among the nations. But we're still going to prove who's who en masse. Okay, and let me go on this too. Go back to the jungle. All that racist stuff they always say about monkeys. Well, let me tell you something, man. You shave a monkey. You shave off the hair of a monkey or an ape, and this is what they look like. You shave off their hair, this is what they look like. Now, you tell me who you tell me whose features this looks like. Does this look like a so-called black man? Or does this look like somebody else? Look at these lips. No lips. Don't we get made fun of for having thick lips? Well, this ape ain't got no lips. You tell me who this really looks like. But understand, the term you derives from the patriarch Judah. Okay, so in order to be you have to be part of the southern kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, one belongs to the tribe of Judah. Okay. Now, they try to throw that on all the tribes and call them Jews. That's incorrect. All right, just like the term Palestine. The term Palestine goes back to the word Philistine. All right, inhabited by the Philistines, who were so-called black. And the Philistines were known in conventional history as the Phoenicians. Okay, known as the Phoenicians. But we're going to touch on that in a minute, because I'm going to prove that the Philistines were so-called black. Okay? This is the Compact Bible Zondervan Dictionary. We're going to go to the highlighted portion. It says Ham, the youngest son of Noah. Now we're going to go down to here, right? He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So it says not the Negroes. We're excluded from that. Why? Because we're not Hamites. But look. He says he became the progenitor of the dark races, which includes the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Okay? You understand? All right. So, and who was one of Ham's son? The Philistines. Going back to the Philistines. Okay? But it's so funny. They tell you, this is how you know that these people are nothing but damn liars, man. All right? Ishashwa is nothing but a damn liar. All right? 3 Saw is nothing but a liar, okay? Because let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 1. First of all, we just proved that Ham's children were all dark-skinned, according to the Zondervan Common Bible Dictionary. 1 Chronicles chapter 1. And we're going to get some books that talk about the Egyptians, by the way. All right? And the reason I'm getting on the Egyptians is because if you know what the Egyptians look like, by default, you know who the Hebrews look like. But first, let's get 1 Chronicles chapter 1 and verse 8. The sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, Put in Canaan. All right. Now we're going to go down to here. Now pay attention to Mizraim. This is the sons of Ham, right? And Mizraim begat Ludim and Anamim and Lahabim and Naphtuhim and Pathrusim. Now watch this. And Kasluhim, of whom came the Philistines, and Kaphthurim. So of who came the Philistines? Mizraim, right? The progenitor of the dark races. He was a son of Ham. So by default, that would make the Philistines so-called Hamites. It would make the Philistines the dark-skinned people, which lets you know that the people that currently inhabit that place also also moved in. Okay, they're not the original inhabitants. But it's so funny, right? They tell you that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but this is how you know that they lie. They lie, okay? Because this is a coin of Ham. This is what they say, Ham, son of Noah. Does this look like an African to you? Does this look like a dark, one of the darker races? This is Canaan, son of Ham. Does this look like how Canaan would look like? Okay, but they try to paint the likeness of their own images, man. Okay, why? Because they don't want the so-called black man. They don't want the so-called dark-skinned people to feel as if they're anybody in history. Okay, that's why they try to erase us in Europe. That's why they try to erase all of our history. They try to erase the so-called black American Indians. Okay, but I did a video on that. Watch the video. I titled it Black Carolina Indians, I believe. But look, where's the land of Ham located? Okay, it says the Egyptians. Where's Egypt at? Obviously, it's in Africa. All right, the land of Ham. Okay, Egypt. Egypt is in Africa. The land of Ham is Africa. Ding, ding. Now I just proved that the progenitor of dark races. Now let's go to Cush. All right, another one of Ham's sons was Cush. Just to prove you that they're all so-called black. Now people are like, well, I thought this was about the Israelites. Just pay attention. Okay, the sons of Ham, Cush. All right, now the word Cush literally means black. All right, and the name Ethiopia means country of burnt faces. All right, the term Ethiopia means the land of the blacks. All right, the term Ethiopia means the land of the blacks. All right, and the inhabitants, the descendants of Ham, were known as tall and smooth. Now pay attention to this word smooth, because a characteristic of smooth is also given to Jacob. All right, now, so we know that Cush means black without a shadow of doubt. So not only do they lie about Ham, they lie about Cush, because Cush begat Nimrod. He begat Nimrod. All right, and we know that the Ethiopians are so-called black. We know that because it says Cush means black. Well, why do when they show you the images of Nimrod, they don't have a so-called black man? I'll tell you why. This is what I just told you. Ain't nothing but damn liars, man. They want to be everybody in history. All right, but it's not the case. Now remember, it told you that these Ethiopians were tall and smooth. Okay? According to Herodotus, the tallest and handsomest of men. Okay? And Herodotus, for those that don't know, Herodotus is known as the father of history. All right? For them, their so-called father of history. Now, let's go to Genesis 27 and 11. Okay? We moving right up the schedule. Let's go to Genesis chapter 27 and verse 11. Two manner of people, right? Okay, now we proved that the Hamites are so-called black without a shadow of a doubt. Now look, Genesis 27 and 11. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. You know who else was smooth? I just showed you. The Ethiopians, the land of the blacks, they were known as tall and smooth. And Jacob was known as a smooth man. All right, more on that later. Now let's go more on the Egyptians. Look, I did a video titled The Black Egyptians 2 months ago. Okay, y'all can look that up. But I want to reference some books that I included in that video where they're going to tell you what the Egyptians look like. All right, this is a book by C.F. Voney, Voyage in Egypt and at Syria. All right, he says, now watch this. I'm going to go down to here. But when I visited the Sphinx, in appearance, gave me the key to the riddle. On seeing that head, typically Negro in all its features. So he's saying that the features of the Sphinx were Negro. I remembered the remarkable passage where Herodotus says, as for me, I judge the Colloquians to be a colony of the Egyptians, because, like them, they are black with woolly hair. So the Egyptians are black with woolly hair, according to Herodotus, and according to this guy as well. In other words, the ancient Egyptians were true Negroes of the same type as all native-born Africans. So he's saying that they're all true Negroes, which is really incorrect because the Negro and the Hamites are two different people. But he is right that they were so-called black, and that's what he's letting you know. So that tells you that the Egyptians were black. Okay, let's get some more though. Let's get Herodotus, what he was referencing. Herodotus, Histories, Book 2, Section 104. There can be no doubt that the Colloquians are the Egyptian race. All right, let's go down. I found that the Colloquians had a more distinct recollection of the Egyptians than the Egyptians had of them. Yeah, because they're the real Egyptians. Because at this time, the Egyptians were being intermixed, all right, with their invaders, which had been the Romans, or Salakia. It was the Greeks at first, but more on that's another video in of itself. But still, the Egyptians said that they believed the Colloquians to be descended from the army of Sesostris. Sesostris was a pharaoh. Now watch this. My own conjectures were founded first on the fact that they are black-skinned and have woolly hair. So this is what he was referencing in his book. Black skin with woolly hair, the Colloquians, who are what? Egyptians. Black skin with woolly hair, which certainly amounts to little, since several other nations are so too. But further, more especially of the circumstance that the Colloquians and Egyptians and Ethiopians are the only nations who practice circumcision. Okay, so he's letting you know that, yes, the Egyptians are in fact black. And I'm going to show you why this is important in a minute. Why am I harping on the fact that the Egyptians were black? Because if you know that the Egyptians were black, you know that the Hebrews were black. But I'm going to show you that in a minute. Let's keep going. Herodotus, Histories, Book 2, Section 57. Lastly, by calling the dove black, the Dodonians indicated that the woman was an Egyptian. So black is equivocal with being an Egyptian, according to Herodotus, right? And for those of you that don't know, Egypt at the time was called Kemet. The term Kemet literally means black land. Okay, Kemet, Kamat, Kemet. In the ancient Egyptian language is translated to mean black. Land of the blacks. So Kemet meant land of the blacks. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar? Didn't I tell you that? Let me go back to it. Salakia. Let me go back to it. Didn't I tell you that Ethiopia meant the land of the blacks? Well, Kemet also meant the land of the blacks. Kemet became Egypt, the Egyptian word for black. So black land. You see that? All right, this is Ammianus Marcellinus. He says the inhabitants of Egypt are generally swarthy, which means black, and dark complexion. All right. This guy, Gerald Massey, he says, I know it's blurry, but I'm going to read it for you. He says, page 14 of A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey. He says, in Egypt, the oldest form of the Great Mother has been reduced. So he says the oldest form of the Great Mother. I'm going to go down. One of them reproduces the black Negroid Isis. So the black Negroid Isis. So they already know that they're black. As a matter of fact, according to the Cambridge, in which even the University of Cambridge admits that the ancient Egyptians were black Africans. And as you can see, it's clear as day. Look at that. Clear as day. Look at the hairstyle. They still got it over there. Clear as day. Egyptian sculpture right there. So after all this information, right, they still say this is a picture of him. This is why I tell you, these people are nothing but damn liars, man. This is a picture of Nimrod. This is a picture of him. And they got themselves playing as the damn Egyptians. Ain't nothing but a bunch of liars, man. All right, because they want to get rid of they don't want the so-called darker skinned nations to believe that they played a role in history. So then they make movies like Gods of Egypt. They have these damn they have the so-called white men there. All right. And that makes you think of a scripture, 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48. 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. All right, they try to paint their own likeness in images, man. They do it all the time. All the time they do it. They tell you that they have pictures of them in the Egyptians. They have pictures of them as the Hamites. And they have pictures of them as being Nimrod. That's all they do, man. Now, you're going to find out right now why I harked on so much on proving that the Egyptians were so-called black. You're going to find out why. All right? Let's get straight to it. Genesis 42. Because his brothers, the 12 tribes of Israel had a brother named Joseph, right? All right. And they sold him into slavery to the Egyptians. Now, later on, they run across their brother. But guess what? They don't recognize Joseph. They just think he's another Egyptian. And we know that the Egyptians were black. So what do you think Joseph was? But let's get that. Genesis 42 and 3. All right. Let's go to verse 5. Genesis 42 and 5. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. So Israel came to get some corn, right? Now let's go down to verse 7. Actually, let's keep going. I'm going to read it again. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. So they bowed down before Joseph. All right. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. Now watch this. Verse 8. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. All right. So Joseph was able to recognize that these were his long lost brothers, but they weren't able to recognize Joseph. Why? Because they thought he was just another Egyptian. All right. Now let's get other versions of this. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they didn't recognize him. Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. So they couldn't recognize him. They couldn't distinct him from an Egyptian. And we know that the Egyptians were black. I just showed you all that through all these histories, right? Through all these literature, the writings. Okay? So that would mean that Joseph looked similar to the Egyptians. Okay, now let's get another example of that. That's why I harkened so much on proving who the Egyptians were. Now let's go to Exodus, the 2nd chapter. All right. And I'll start at verse 5. Exodus 2 and 5. We're going to move around. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept and had compassion on him. And she had compassion on him and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Why was she able to find out it was one of the Hebrews' children? Because she knew that the Hebrews were being sent down the river. All right, now we're going to go down to verse 10. All right, actually, I'm going to start at verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. All right, so she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. All right. Now, you have to ask yourself, if Moses became her son, right? All right, we know the Egyptians are black. If Moses became her son and was able to become her son, he couldn't have looked like this, man, because he would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. So he had to have looked similar to the Egyptians, just like Joseph did. But just in case you didn't believe me, we're going to get to another part where they thought that Moses was an Egyptian. This is Exodus chapter 2 and verse 17. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, How is it that you are come so soon today? So watch what they're about to say about Moses. All right. And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. So they said, we got helped by an Egyptian. Who was that quote unquote Egyptian? That was Moses. But we know that Moses was really one of the Hebrews' children. But he was mistaken for an Egyptian. Why? Because of what he was wearing and because of his appearance. All right. Moses was also mistaken for an Egyptian, which means that Moses had to have been a so-called black man. All right. See that? Now that's already over with, man. But we're going to keep going. Let's get an account where he lost his pigment. Moses lost his pigment. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4 and verse 6. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 5. Exodus 4 and 5. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 4. Exodus 4 and 4. Now look, and the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. And watch this. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now watch this. Hath appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So after he put his hand in his coat and he took it back out. He put his hand in his robe and he took it back out. And his hand was leprous, meaning white as snow. All right, so his hand became white. All right, now watch. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. He put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh, meaning it was turned back to his real color, which was this color, light to dark brown, whichever way you want to go, right? All right, it was turned again as his other flesh. All right. Today it would be known as vitiligo. All right, and autoimmune causes patches of skin to lose pigment of color. Moses had lost his pigment of color. Let's get another example of somebody becoming white as snow. All right. Numbers 12 and 10. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them. Numbers 12 and 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. So she lost her skin pigment. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So Miriam got treated, man. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, wherewith we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Why did he say of whom the flesh is consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb? Because when most babies are born, they're born light of complexion. They don't have their full pigment most of the time. She had lost her pigment. All right. So Miriam was out here looking like this. All right. Like you see how pale these goth people are? Look, she got an Egypt ankh on. Mad and completely confused. But she, look, just letting you know she's a witch, because that symbol goes back to witchcraft. All right. But look, Miriam was looking something like this. She got her pigment snatched. All right. Now, so we know that being turned white as snow is a sign of leprosy according to the scriptures. So when you guys get in my comments, because I know they're coming. I know they're coming if they haven't made it already. They're over here.
Well, actually, what about the time when they say they're what?
Well, watch this. Let's deal with it. Songs of Solomon, the 5th chapter and the 10th verse. My beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. Now you go down to these other translations. This term white and ruddy means radiant and ruddy, dark and dazzling, radiant and ruddy, dazzling and ruddy. All right. So in other words, that means he's a light. He's radiant. All right. But we're going to prove that even further. And we already proved what ruddy was. We already proved what ruddy cows, ruddy dogs, and ruddy horses look like. So let's come back. We're going to keep going, because there's other scriptures when they're called white. It's not talking about their skin complexion, because that would make them leprous. That would make them what? Leprous, white as snow. That's what that would make them. Let's go to Psalms 51 and 7. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. All right, he says, wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Is that talking about he's going to be literally white? No. Is David praying to be damn leprous? No. He's praying to have a clean slate, or like a clean piece of paper. Okay? White has always been a symbol of purity, cleanness. Okay? And that's why I don't call the so-called white man white, because really they're red. But we're going to get to that in a minute. All right? Lamentations 4 and 7. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Okay? Whiter than milk. Once again, that's not literal. That would make them leprous. But you know what? When he says, my beloved is white and ruddy, people are like, oh no, it's talking about the Lord. So you're telling me that the Lord turned himself leprous? Don't you know that leprosy is a plague? Tell me that the Lord made himself leprous? That's how stupid people sound, man, when they don't know what they're talking about. And just to prove that, let's go to this term white, all right, in the Blue Letter Bible. Adjective. White, clear, plain, dazzling, clear, bright. It's not talking about skin complexion. Sunny, bright, clear, plainly, white. All right, clean slate. So when he says purge me with hyssop, I should be white as snow, meaning have a clean slate. That's what he's talking about. All right, but let's get another example of somebody becoming white as snow as a leprosy. Second Kings 5:27. All right, 2 Kings 5:27. The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper, as white as snow. All right. So all these times, these are examples of people losing their skin pigmentation. All right. And we already know that I gave you several times where people were mistaken for Egyptians. All right. So we know that they were so-called black. So when these people try to tell me what to talk about, that's make me laugh, man. When they try to teach me the scriptures. Let me tell you something, man. I don't want no input from anybody outside of my tribe. Nobody. All right. Let's get another account of somebody being mistaken for an Egyptian. Acts chapter 21 and verse 37. And Paul was to be led into the castle. He said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee? Who said, canst thou speak Greek? Now watch what they think Paul is. Watch what they think Paul is. Art not thou that Egyptian? So they mistook him. They mistook Paul for an Egyptian. All right. Art not that thou Egyptian, which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers. Now watch what Paul says in response to being claimed an Egyptian. Watch what he says. But Paul said, I am a man, which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. So Paul said, no, I'm not an Egyptian. I am a Judean. All right, and we know that really Paul goes back to the tribe of Benjamin, which means that being of the U stock, that means it's Judah, Benjamin, Levi, like I said earlier. But he was mistaken for an Egyptian. All right, let's get more accounts of proving that they're black. All right, I mean, I done proved it already. If you don't get it, that's on you. But let's get Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simon that was called Niger. And really the word Niger is the N word, but I can't say it. But when you play the translation, it goes to the N word. So Simon was called Niger. And Lucius of Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Now this term Niger means black, a surname of Simon. He was probably so called from his dark complexion. So he's probably so called from his dark complexion, right? Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like that ruddy thing? The dark-skinned Hebrews? Okay. You see where I'm going? His dark complexion. All right. Simon, devout Simon. Simon, surname Niger, one of the teachers of the church of Antioch. All right. Who was Simon? Simon was a prophet. Surname of the prophet Simon. Niger equals black. So Simon was a prophet. All right. In order to be a prophet, you have to be an Israelite. Amos 2 and 11. And I raised up your sons for prophets. And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord? So the children of Israel, your sons the prophets. All right. Simon was a prophet. Okay. And Simon was surnamed black because he was very dark skinned. Okay. Now another word for Niger is black. All right. But when you go to the word Negro, it says Negro, member of the black skin race of Africa. All right, from Latin, nigrum, nominative, Niger. So Negro is nominative with Niger, black, dark. All right, so same thing, Negro, Niger, black, right? Niger, Latin, black. All right, so go to the word Negro. Negroes transplanted, continue their hue in themselves and their generations brown. That's because really we're not black. We're different shades of brown. But the word Negro goes to the word brown. Okay? I can't make this any more plainly. All right, now Phineas. You're going to find out that Phineas was known as a Negro as well, according to the blue letter. His name goes back to the word Negro. Numbers 25 and 7. All right? And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. All right, so Phinehas, verse 11, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest. Now we know that Aaron is the brother to Moses, all right, which would make him a Levite. So Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. All right, so Phinehas was the son of Eleazar. Now watch this word Phinehas. Phinehas, strong, Egyptian, Panahasi, the Negro. You see that? The Negro. The Negro. Phinehas, the name of 3 Israelites. So Phinehas, mouth of brass, Panahas, the Negro. You see that? And look, Negro. Niger, a native or descendant of the black race of men in Africa. All right, so so we proving that, and we're gonna get to Esau in a minute. We're gonna get to Esau in a minute. Hold your horses, man. Okay, hold your horses. We're gonna get to the red one in a minute. All right, we're gonna get to your kinsfolk in a minute, but first, we can still touch on the hair. All right, let's look at the hair. All right, according to the scriptures, the Israelites all had black hair. Every single one of them had black hair at one point. Let's prove that. Leviticus 13 and 31. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in the sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague of the skull 7 days. All right, so if there's no black hair in it, he has a plague in the skull. All right, so meaning they all have black hair. It doesn't say any other hair type color, but look, let's go to Leviticus 13 and 37. But if the skull be on his sight at a stay, and that there is black hair grown up therein, the skull is healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. So a sign of black hair is a sign of cleanliness. All right, but if he had a yellow thin hair, that was a sign of leprosy. That was a sign of plague of the skull. But that shows that all the Israelites had black hair. All right, Matthew 5 and 36. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. So people have no say in turning their hair white or black unless they use hair dye, but naturally they can't do it. All right, but once again, he referenced the hair. One hair was white and one was black. Meaning what? The Israelites either had black hair or it was white with age. Their hair became gray with age. All right, period. All right, meaning they either had black hair or white hair. You understand? All right, and blonde hair, according to the scriptures, was known as a plague. Leviticus 13 and 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry skull, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. A yellow thin hair. All right. Yellow thin hair. The term blonde, golden. Now I go to Hebrew, sahab. That yellow thin hair means gleaming. Yellow of hair, golden in color. Yellow, blonde, golden, or light golden brown color. Blonde, golden, golden in color. Golden, yellow, yellow. Yellow thin hair, blonde. You see that? Period. All right, this was known as a leprosy at the time. Man. All right, period. Now let's go back to where I meant on the smooth man, right? Now we finna get on Esau. I done proved who the Israelites are. Now we're gonna get on Esau, the second person, the red man, or as I'm gonna start calling him to get out of that. I'm gonna start calling him the vampire. So now we're gonna get on the vampire, and you're gonna find out why I call him the vampire in a minute. All right. Let's go back. I gotta scroll all the way down. Genesis 27 and 11. Again, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. All right. What does he mean when he says I'm a smooth man? Meaning bare. He doesn't have any arm or body hair. He was bare, bland, smooth. All right. Now we also know what? That the Ethiopians. Let's go back. We know that the Ethiopians were known as black, tall, and smooth-skinned. Okay, now let's go back. So who's the hairy one? Well, we found him. We found the hairy one. We found him. Let's go back. 1 second. 1 second. All right, we back at it. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Genesis 27:11, right? Now, Jacob was smooth, like them Ethiopians. So who is the hairy one? Who's the hairy one? Well, look, all I did was Google what ethnicity has the most hair. And it says what? According to the Personal Health via the New York Times, Caucasians are the hairiest ethnic group. So they're the hairiest ethnic group. Then it says that Middle Eastern, then it says that Semitic, quote unquote, Mediterranean people. You know, and by the way, Esau is still Semitic, okay? Or Shemitic. It's really Shemitic. But yeah, the most hairy man according to that is what? The Caucasians. So who was the hairy man? Well, you tell me. See, now we're about to go on to who is the second nation. Who is the second nation? We're about to find out. All right? We're about to find out. I already proved one. Now we're going to prove the other. And for those of you that don't know, Africans don't have body hair like that. Look, why don't Africans have androgynous body hair? Yeah, you're not going to catch African looking like this unless he has some type of wild mutation. Now look. West Africans, East Africans, and South Africans give us the same picture. They have almost no androgynous body hair other than relative weak beard growth. So their beard grows because, you know, it's according to the law of the scriptures, your beard has to grow. But look, we do not have body hair. Okay? We don't have that body hair. All right, remember, Kush, black, land of the blacks, tall and smooth. Ain't got no body hair. Smooth. Free from roughness. Now we're going to prove who Esau is. Free from roughness. Now you say, well,
What does this hairy got to do with it?
Esau was the hairy man. All right, free from roughness. All right, what does roughness mean? Rough, hairy, shaggy. Now, why does it matter, hairy or shaggy? We're going to get to it. Hirsute, hairy. Now, look, let's prove this. So, hirsute means hairy. Hairy means rough and shaggy. Now, we're going to prove hirsute, right? Now, this is Bible Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Fawcett. Shout out to the brother Elijah. Now, look, page 184. Mount Seir. The mountainous territory having a reddish hue. Yeah, reddish hue. Notice it doesn't say a ruddy hue. Reddish hue. We're going to that later. Seir means rugged. Applicable alike to Seir. The hirsuting like Esau. So Esau was hirsute. Esau was hairy. Esau was rough, hairy, shaggy. He wasn't smooth like his brother. Why? Because he was another manner of people. Remember, two nations in that womb, two manner of people, two separate races. The word nation means race. All right. Hirsute like Esau, progenitor of the Horites, predecessors into the rugged, forest-covered territory. All right. So we have found him. We have found him. I Shashua. All right. Now people can say, well, actually, Esau's the Arab. You know, the so-called Arab is hairy. Let me tell you something, man. A lot of the people that are in that region right now are hybrids. All right, I'm going to do a video on them in due time. But a lot of them are hybrids. Look, these are some other Arabs that they don't show you on TV. These are some other Arabs they don't show you, so-called Arabs that you don't see on TV. By the way, the term Arab comes from the word Arab, which means mixed. These are some so-called Arabs you don't see. And now as you can see, no hair, smooth. No hair, smooth. So when you see these people, and now you have some hairy so-called Arabs. Look, hairy chest Arab dude, Dr. Muhammad. Look at these people. Now they're so. Why is that? Because they have become hybridized. All right, from the Turks, who were so-called Caucasians. All right, the Ottoman Turks. That's why you have the president of Yemen. President of Yemen looks very similar to a so-called white man. I wonder why. Because the Turks came into that region and hybridized the landmass. Believe it or not. But I'm gonna do another video on that to prove that another time. All right. So, in other words, that means the original Ishmaelites, they were not hairy like this. Okay. Hence the picture. Now, we proved that Esau meant hairy. We proved all that, right? Esau, rugged. Hirsute means hairy. Therefore, this is him. But we're going to keep going. I'm going to prove to you people without a shadow of a doubt who Esau is. I'm going to prove to you. So just chill. Sit back and listen. You're drinking my water. Oh, look, my computer trying to freeze on me. All right, we back. All right, now, Esau. Genesis 38:3. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. All right, remember, Mount Seir goes back to hirsute, hairy. I'm going to prove that to you, though. The term Seir means hairy or shaggy. Descendants of Esau, the Edomites. So they are hairy and shaggy. Okay? Genesis 25:25. All right, and when you look up this term, hold on. Genesis 25:25. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So he came out red. It didn't say the first one came out ruddy. It said he came out red. And when you go to this translation of this word red, it says the Hebrew word adaham, meaning blood or blood-like. So he came out looking like the color of blood. Why did he come out looking like the color of blood? Because his skin is translucent. You could actually see his blood. See that reddish hue that you see? It's actually his blood. Look. Mother reveals how her premature baby was born with red skin so transparent her brain was visible. You can see the brain of this came out red. Newborn baby with red skin came out red all over like a hairy garment. Rosy, red, ruddy. Now ruddy goes from, like I said, different tints of red, but it didn't say he came out red. It said he came out red. All right, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna see when else the term red was used in the scriptures. All right, and red meaning like blood. Remember, it said blood-like. All right, that's why they call them what? Red blood cells. All right. Now, all these terms for red, which goes back to the word Adam again, meaning red, showing you that Esau is red. That's why I don't call him. That's why I don't call them so-called. Why I call them the red? Because they're red. Now look, red is used in other terms, and it's all talking about things being dyed blood red, like this type of red. And the ram skins dyed red. This is Exodus 25:5. And ram skins dyed red, badger skins, and shittim wood. All right, ram skins dyed red, ram skins dyed red, ram skins dyed red, red skins of rams, red, all dyed red. Now, were they dyeing them brown or were they dyeing them blood red? All right, red sheepskin. These are all red sheepskins. Came out red. All right, came out red. All right, blood-like, translucent. All right, that's why when they get, that's why they have the term redneck. That's why when they get mad, they turn red. That's why if you smack a stripper on the ass, she got a red ass handprint. Thanks for the giant red print on my look. Put a mark on her ass. You see that? That's why when they blush, they turn red. All right. Pink or pale red, they turn red. All right, and all right, and you know what else turns to red? The sunlight, man. You know, that's why I said from now on, whenever I speak on Ishashua, I'm gonna start calling him the vampire. All right, because the sun, it turned red too. Look, this little meme or this gif. Ow, my lily white skin. That's what she said, right? Well, look. Yeah, because when the sun hit them, they turn red. All right? They turn red. Raw. Red. See this term raw? See that term raw? Let me go back. See if I can find this real quick. See this term raw, right? Let me see if I can find this real quick again. The flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Flesh half consumed, like raw. All right, that's what Miriam looked like. All right. Red from sunburn. you know what happens when the vampire hits the sun? Hey. All right. So when you look at Superman, Superman's a joke, man. If Superman flew this close to the sun, he'd be looking like this, man. he ain't got the complexion for the connection. All right, so if Superman flew close to the sun, he'd be looking like this, man. This would be him. Be looking red as hell, man. All right. All right, and let's get some health. All right, skin cancer and color and skin color. This is HSS Public Access. Right? Now, this is who gets skin cancer the most. From the sun, right? Now, let's go down to here. Ultraviolet UV radiation. For Caucasians. Larger. All right, let's go down to here. Skin cancer is the most common malignancy in the United States and represents 35 to 45%. Damn near 50%. Almost half of them. Of all neoplasms in Caucasians. So dang, the sun is, the sun going in, man. Right? Melanoma. Incidence of mortality, United States. Melanoma is skin cancer. Look at these ratings. Hold on, let me go back real quick. So while they get 35 to 4%, in Hispanics it's only 4 to 5%. In Asians it's 2 to 4%. In the blacks it's 1 to 2%. So the sun ain't cooking us like it's cooking them. Sun ain't like, sun ain't kind of vampires either. The sun ain't kind of vampires either. I'll just put it like that. Now look at this melanoma rate, which is skin cancer. Look, race, ethnicity, all races, 21.8%. Now look, white. This is the percent of skin cancer, 24.9%, 73,000 people. Now these are the Hispanics, the white Hispanics, 4%. Now these are the white non-Hispanics. Those are the non-Hispanics, but still white, 28%. Look at that skin cancer. Look at black, 1%. Alaska Native. American Indian, 5.6%. Asian Pacific Islander, 1.3%. Hispanic, 4.6%. Versus 28-24. Yeah, that now you see why. Now you see why I said what I said. We're gonna keep going. Because I'm gonna prove to you through it out a shout out who Esau is according to scriptures. But right now I'm just doing my victory lap. Doing my victory lap, so to speak. All right, and also, and let me go back on Harry too. Let me go back to Harry, right? So Harry people are also known as, Harry people are also compared to devils. Okay, you don't believe me? Let's go to this word. Let's compare it to devils. So people are like, what do people call so-and-so the devil, man? Well, let me show you why. All right, Leviticus 17:7. And they shall no more offer their sacrifice unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. Now, this term devils goes back to the word Sair. Sounds like Mount Seir, right? Sair. All right, devil, hairy, rough, hairy, he-goat. All right, now, of course, the sacrifice is talking about where they're sacrificing the goat gods like Canaan. Over the years, it was Canaan, Baphomet, Beneptajet, all them type of people. But look, just the term devils is linked to Sair, which means rough, hairy. Who else was linked to rough and hairy? Esau, rugged, Seir, rugged. Hirsute. What's hirsute mean? Hairy. All right, what is hairy? Rough, hairy, shaggy. All right, so that is synonymous with devils. So what do you call them, the devil? That's why. All right, and you know who else was called Shaggy? Hairy? You know who else was called Hairy and Shaggy? You know who else was called the he-goat? Alexander the Great, or as I call him, Alexander the Macedonian. Alexander the Macedonian was known as the Shaggy Goat. The he-goat. He was called the Shaggy Goat. For those who don't know, the vision of Daniel, that large horn between the eyes, the little horn, that is Alexander the Great. Okay? Alexander the Great. We go to Daniel. 8th chapter, verse 21, as well as Daniel 11, verse 3 and 4. All right, so Alexander the Great is that he-goat that he saw. All right, and he was known as the Shaggy Goat, Alexander the Great. You can look up coins. There are coins of Alexander depicting himself with the goat horns. Now, let's prove who Alexander is according to scriptures. That Alexander the Great, Alexander the Macedonian, was an Edomite. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1. All right, and it happened after that. Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chedum, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So this is when the Macedonians conquered Greece. Alexander, the son of Philip. Alexander the Great. That's who this is talking about. All right. And out of them came Antiochus the king, the Greek king Antiochus. All right. Out of the general's sons came Antiochus. They're all Edomites. I'm going to prove that. They're all Amalekites, to be specific. Antiochus, Greek Hellenistic king. Antiochus. Alexander. These are all Idumeans. These are all Edomites. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it right here. Mic drop. Genesis 36:12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the son of Adah, Esau's wife. So through Esau you get Amalek, who is the grandson of Esau. Eliphaz was Esau's son. He bare Amalek. All right, Amalek, right? Now watch this. 1 Samuel 15:32. Then says Samuel, bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him deceitfully, and Agag said, surely the bitterness of death is past. So Agag was the king of the Amalekites. Now later on, the term Agag is going to be referenced to Agagite, meaning what? They were the sons of Agag. Let's prove that. Let's keep going. All right, and Alexander the Great, this is what he looked like, right? Allegedly. Now this would mean that he was an Amalekite. But, you know, did I not include the other one? Oh, let's get editions of Esther real quick. Let's prove that. So remember that term Agagite. Remember that term Agag, Amalekites. The king of the Amalekites was Agag. Oh, let's go to the next one, Esther. Esther 3:1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. Agagite comes from Agag. The Agagite. Right? And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. It tells that again in Esther 9:24. That because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them and had cast that is, the lot to consume them and to destroy him. So Haman was an Agagite. But when you go to the editions of Esther, it tells you that Haman was a Macedonian, which means that the Macedonians were Agagites, and the Agagites are Amalekites, and the Amalekites are the grandsons of Esau, the father of the Edomites. Okay? Let's prove that. So remember, Haman was an Agagite. Agag was the king of the Amalekites. All right? Amalek goes back to Esau. Right? Let's go back. This is of Esther 16:10. And Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Hammedatha. Haman, the son of Hammedatha. Haman, the son of Hammedatha. Haman, the son of Hammedatha. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Hammedatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us. So Haman was a Macedonian, just like Alexander was. All right, editions of Esther, the 16th verse, or 16th chapter and the 14th verse. For by these means he thought finding us destitute of friends to have translated the kingdom of Persians to the Macedonians. So Haman was a plant sent to the Persian Empire to be as a plant, to be as a mole, to help overthrow the Persians for the Macedonians, which ultimately ended up happening later on because we know that Alexander, son of Philip the Amalekite, he did end up defeating Darius, king of the Medes. All right, so we know for a shadow of a doubt who the Edomites are. They look just like this guy. All right. And Macedonia conquered Greece. Greece turned into Rome later on. All right, now, and speaking of Rome, let's deal with this before I get out of here. Let's go back to, remember I said vampires, right? Vampires. All right, remember I said that? Well, let's go to, this is a book, Dictionary of Judaism in the Biblical Period. Shout out to Council of the Wise. By the way, Council of the Wise, he looks like a so-called white man. He looks like one. But he ain't one. He's an Israelite. So that shows you that you can't judge a book by its cover. But we are gonna let you know who's who. I'm gonna let you know who's who. That's for a fact. All right, now let's go to this book, Dictionary of Judaism in the Biblical Period. Edom. Edom is compared to a pig. This is going to be important later. Edom is compared to a pig and to an eagle, as is Rome and Edom, Seir, and Esau are all symbols for Rome. So the Edomites are the Romans, period. Period. All right? You have been exposed. And don't you know that Edom is compared to a pig? Don't you know that a derogatory word, a racial slur towards this guy is this term, pig skin? A derogatory term used to describe a person of Caucasite descent. All right? Now, why would they be compared to the skins of pigs? I'll tell you why. Because like them themselves, for those of you that don't know, pigs, we still rolling? Yeah, pigs get sunburned. Believe it or not, pigs get sunburned. Pigs that are unaccustomed to direct sunlight may be sunburned if not exposed gradually to the outdoor environment. Pigs get sunburned. But you know what protects the pigs from getting sunburned? The hair all over his body. All right? You know what? Because they have hairy pigs. And we already know who was hairy. We already know who was hairy. Esau, her suit, hairy. So the hair would actually protect him from the sun. But see, I guess they're ashamed of their heritage. I guess Esau's ashamed of his heritage, so he shaves off all his hair. Or he's been intermixed in by other nations because, that's what he does. That's what he does. He blends himself in amongst the other nations. But look, yeah, the hair protects them from the sun. The hair actually protects them from the sun. Look, hair protects from the sun. The skin of your scalp is the same as skin anywhere on your body. Hair actually protects your scalp from burning too easily in direct sunlight. So the hair on the body protects the pig from the sunlight. All right. You know how else these pigs protect themselves from the sunlight? They roll around in mud. But let's get another one. Body hair protects from the sun. Body hair protects from the sun. As a physical blocker, hair does help shield the scalp from some of the sun ultraviolet rays, which can lead to skin cancer. However, you need more protection, especially where you're part of hair and if your hair is thin or if you have bald spots. All right. There's another way that pigs don't get sunburned. They roll around in the mud. Since pigs spend most of their time in the hot sun, they must take measures to prevent their skin from sunburn and keep their body temperature with normal limits. Wallowing in mud creates protective coating on the pig skin and assists in evaporative cooling, a pig's version of sweating. Now, why do I keep harping on this term pig and all this, right? Because Edom is compared to a pig, according to this dictionary of Judaism in the biblical period. Edom is compared to a pig. And pigs get sunburned. All right? Other people get sunburned too. All right? But, yeah. But look, and in the same way that mud protects the pig from sunburn, mud protects these guys from sunburn. Look, can mud protect you from the sun? Mud. Yes, mud. Mud acts as a physical barrier type of sunscreen because it can prevent the sun's UV rays penetrating the skin. So the mud can protect the skin of certain people just like it protects the pigs. Roll around in the mud. Roll around in the mud. Look at Rambo. All right, and let me turn on this too. The term Khazar, because this is ammunition for if I gotta regulate again and go even further in this. But the term Khazar is a Hebrew word which means swine, which means pig. All right, Khazar means swine, means pig. All right, you can do your own history on the Khazars on your own time. All right, somebody even did a picture on Google. They said Harvey Weinstein. Then somebody said Harvey Swinestein, so they compared him to a pig. All right, what else was Edom compared to? Edom is compared to a pig and to an eagle. So Edom is also compared to an eagle. Why is that? Well, look. Obadiah 1:4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. All right, so the eagle sets his nest among the stars. That's the American flag. Who runs America? You can look up something called the Roman eagle. I didn't include it, but look up the Roman eagle. Okay, so they're compared to a pig as well as being compared to an eagle. All right, and Esau's at the end of the world. Now you tell me who runs the world. 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the person that's going to be a rulership at the end of the world is going to be the revitalized Roman Empire, aka the Edomites. All right, who have come back. All right, by setting their eagle nest among the stars. All right, and for you guys to try to get on my thing,
Actually, it's Japheth.
I did a video on black Europeans. You can actually Google this. Were the first Europeans black? Or Google were the first Europeans dark skinned? And they're going to tell you yes on Google. I did a video, an hour-long video lesson on that titled Black Europeans, where I went in books on that, man. All right, so there you go, man. We proved the two manner of people that we proved who the ruddy imposter was. All right, you can try to be us, you can pretend to be us, but we know the real, man. All right, and I had to become Blade real quick. All right, and become a verbal vampire slayer, man. And straight up put dude in his place, man. Don't you ever presume that I'm from another nation, man. You better check your own nation, man. Become Blade, all right? Better Blade on you, man. Call me. My Hebrew name is Kar Karath. Call me Kar Karath, the verbal vampire slayer. All right, and I had to put him in the coffin real quick, man. And with that, that's it, man. Now we know for a fact the two manner of people, the two nations, the two races, man. And with that, I say peace to the 12. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahawah in the name of His only begotten Son, yahawashi. I want to say shalom, which means peace to you people listening and learning, to you people doing this work in truth and sincerity, and to you elders have been doing this thing before me. Yahawah is the name of the Heavenly Father, who is commonly known as God. Yahawashi is the Savior of the nation of Israel, who is commonly known as Jesus Christ. And also, let me say this too, man. Don't ever be afraid to go into your own history. Don't ever trust anything that comes out of these vampires' mouths, man. They already lied enough. They've done enough damage. All right? And I'll tell you this, too, before I get up out of here, man. Anybody want to come in my comments talking crazy, I'm going to block you, man. All right? My channel isn't for you. My channel is for the 12 tribes of Israel. And with that, I say shalom.